Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got a genuine megastar for you today. Bill Medley was one half of the Righteous Brothers, and since then he's gone on to have mega hits around the world. Brought back to life by Dirty Dancing, Time of My Life, and You've Lost That Loving Feeling are two of the best radio songs ever, along, of course, with Unchained Melody, which I love. Bill, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Do you know, I'm delicious, but not as good as you. What a life you've got. It's tremendous, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, boy, I can't believe I'm still, I'm going to be 75 in 2 days, and I can't believe I'm still out here doing it. And boy, I just feel very blessed. I'm very blessed to still have my voice cooking, and, it's been an amazing life.
I've spent the last week or so researching you and looking into your voice, and it seems to me you're of a soul generation. I'm guessing you were influenced by a lot of black singers because you've got such a great timbre to your voice and resonance.
Yeah, I have to credit my career to all the black artists from the 50s and bad sinuses. But yeah, I was totally raised on the black artists from the first guy I fell in love with was Little Richard, and then that's when I was about 15, and then I was about 18, 19, got into Ray Charles and B.B. King and all those guys, and they just music was pretty white up until the mid-50s and rock and roll and everything, and boy, it just saved my life.
I had a lady on yesterday called Mary Wilson. You might have heard of her. You're going to be performing.
I know Mary very well.
You're going to be performing with her in the UK on the Time of My Life tour. And she was saying what was great about the Supremes was they were just three black girls, and then suddenly they had a #1 record, and it meant something. It was a very different time back then, and a pitiful time, really.
Yeah, it was an amazing time, in the history of music, and boy, switching over from, big band music, white kind of pop in the Sinatra to rhythm and blues, and certainly all the Motown music, and it was just a great era. I mean, we would go into the studio and experiment, trying to come up with different sounds and make the backbeat bigger, and it was just a really creative time.
I guess you can't be trained to sing like you do. That's the gift you've been given.
Yeah, I really can't explain why and how I sing the way I do. It just the rhythm and blues music just went directly to my heart and my soul. Didn't even pass through my brain, because it's such emotional music, and until rock and roll or rhythm and blues, I got introduced to rhythm and blues. It was all pretty white, safe kind of music, and the first time I heard Little Richard with that abandonment, I mean, just emotion and energy, and what a great sound, and a lot of just very animal kind of like, and I just fell in love with it, and oddly, I didn't try and copy anybody. I of course I was obsessed with Ray Charles, so I think every good singer was Ray Charles for the first 10 years of their career.
Yeah.
But I don't know where it came from, but I'm sure glad that it came around.
Is it amazing to you that in 2015, songs that were written 60 years ago are still being played on the radio and as contemporary and popular today as they were then? That's rare. You do know that, don't you?
Well, I do know that, and it's hard to screw my head onto. I know that You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin' is the most played record in the history of American radio, and that is just so weird to me. And even when Bobby was alive, we just couldn't screw our head onto it. We went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was an amazing, wonderful thing to have happen, but it wasn't so weird. I mean, there was like 300 people in there, but to have the number one, played record in the history of American radio is just weird. And I think, I just think maybe it's just because I'm an old man and I'm from that era, is that I just think the songs that were recorded in the 50s and 60s, just had, I don't think they'll ever die.
What was the biggest year for you, 1964 or 65? What was the year you felt you made it?
Well, we had two different careers, kind of. Bobby and I had our first hit record in probably late 62, when we were doing real rock and roll and rhythm and blues, songs like Little Latin Loopy Lou, My Babe, Coco Joe, and they were real rock and roll songs. So that was our first career, or that was our first 3 years. And then in 64, Phil Spector wanted to produce us, and Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil wrote "You've Lost That Love and Feeling" for us. So it just took us from one direction totally to another. And so I would say 64 and 65 was I think we recorded "Love and Feeling" in 64, and I think it became a huge hit in 65. Yep. I believe. But hey, man, every year is a good year.
Yeah. An interesting question about Spector that you raised then. Was he the creepiest man in show business ever? I've done a lot of research into him, and he seems like a very odd man at best.
Well, back when we worked with Phil in 64, 65, he wasn't that odd. Oddly enough, he wanted people to think that he was really strange, and he wanted that reputation. And then apparently, as the years went on, he he perfected it.
Yes, he did. He certainly did. Of all the people you worked with, let's look positive. Who were the ones that made you the most nervous, that you were in awe of? Are we talking Elvis and Sinatra?
No, Ray Charles.
Wow.
We were doing a show, an American show called Shindig. It was very big. Actually, Jack Good produced it. An English guy. Go figure. It took a great Englishman to come over to America and do a great rock and roll TV show.
We're always to blame somewhere, aren't we?
Got to put it somewhere. We'll put it on Jack Good. But we were doing this show, a TV show, Shindig, and a lot like, what was your show, Ready, Steady, Go? Or
yes,
one of those, similar. And Ray Charles came on the show. Man, I just absolutely put me in a coma. An absolute coma. I just was, I don't know, I was just nervous and could barely speak. I did speak to him, and actually everybody on the show wanted me to sing Georgia on my mind to him. I said, are you kidding? Are you nuts?
Was he the greatest vocalist in terms of phrasing and the way that he could put over a song?
He just, man, more than anybody, but he just, I don't know, just some of the stuff that wasn't even, supposed to be in the song, some of the noises and the riffs and how he would do things were just so inspiring to me and obviously our whole generation. He just was a magical guy and a brilliant musical guy, a great piano player and obviously a great singer and songwriter. So, that was the most nervous. The truth is, I got to know Elvis Presley kind of gradually. Elvis used to come in and see the Righteous Brothers way back there in 62 and 63 in Hollywood, and he'd bring all of his boys. So I kind of knew Elvis, and then Elvis became a real good friend of mine in the '70s. I spent some time at Graceland, and Frank Sinatra. When we met Frank Sinatra, we you know, he was kind of from another school from us, you know. So when we met him, we didn't realize, you know, what a giant he was, you know. But he brought us to Las Vegas here in the States, and but I would say, yeah, Ray Charles and Little Richard. When I met Little Richard, was just was an out-of-body experience.
Of course, Sinatra would have been 100 years old in December. Did you feel enamored by him? Did you think he was in a different league to you? Or did you find him too serious? Because you were sort of a pop star. He was a crooner, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was a big band singer in reality. And when he brought us to Vegas, he was in the main room, and we were in this lounge, beautiful lounge, and we were just having a huge hit with Love and Feelings, so we were doing real good, and he was doing phenomenal, and he was a big band singer, and Bobby and I were just loud rock and roll singers, and I very surprised that Frank Sinatra took to the Righteous Brothers, because we were, you know, kind of what that generation really hated.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question that you're probably going to slam the phone down on over. Your best song. I know it's like asking for a favourite child, but if there was one last song you got to sing, which one would it be?
Boy, the follow-up to Love and Feeling was a song called Just Once in My Life.
Oh.
And it kind of got lost in the shadow of Love and Feeling, but it went to the top 10 here anyway. Written by Carole King. It's called Just Once in My Life. It's just a great song. It's a great song written by Carole King and Jerry Goffin. And of course, it's pretty hard to beat Love and Feeling and Unchained Melody. Those are just, you know, beautiful, great songs.
Here's my confession, Bill. I'm a 2-bit club singer. I do the odd cabaret. I'm asked to MC the odd event, and I try and sing the odd song. I wouldn't go anywhere near Time of My Life. He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother, You've Lost the Loving Feeling. These are impossible songs. How do you sing them?
Oh, boy, I probably from stupidity. probably just too stupid to know that they're tough songs and that I shouldn't tackle them, but
they are a marathon, though, aren't they? Truly, vocally.
Very much so. And I don't know. You know, I've been blessed. You know, people have come to, ever since Love and Feeling. You know, people have come to me with great songs, and I've turned down a whole bunch of them that I shouldn't have. But you can only do so many, and I guess I was just stupid enough to give him a shot.
Indulge me with just one song that got away that you should have said yes to. Which is the one that pisses you off the most?
Well, boy, there's a bunch of them. I turned down In the Ghetto by Elvis Presley.
No.
Yeah, and I actually went in and recorded You Got a Friend, Carole King song.
Did you really?
I recorded it with Carole. And Herb Alpert was producing me at the time, and boy, it just sounded like a monster hit. And Herb Alpert says, "Nah, I don't think it's a hit."
Are you kidding me?
That was a heartbreaker. But I turned down We Got to Get Out of This Place. I think the Animals did it, and so I've turned down a good 2 or 3 careers.
Having said that, in 1987, these hits were brought back to life. Of course, Dirty Dancing did you proud. When they offered you that, did you think it would be a whole lot of nothing, or did you realise that some 30 years later I'd still be talking about it?
Well, with Dirty Dancing, the guy called me and said, Jimmy Einer, he's putting the music together for Dirty Dancing. He said, Bill, I want you to do a song for a movie, and you have to understand, in those days I was asked all the time to do. I said, well, I said, who? Because I had just finished a song with Gladys Knight for a Sylvester Stallone movie, and I said, well, what's the movie? And he said, well, it's called Dirty Dancing. And in those days, Dirty Dancing sounded like a bad porno movie, you know. And I said, well, I can't do it while my folks are alive, but he said, no, it's a really cute movie. I said, okay, great. Who's in it? And he said, Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. I said, well, who's that? Because, you know, they kind of weren't big yet, and that movie made them big.
Yeah.
So yeah, I turned it down for about 3 months because my wife Paula was expecting our child, our daughter McKenna, and I promised her I would be home for that, and they wanted me to record in New York, and I'm a California guy. And I said, no, I just can't do it. And finally, Paula had our child, and they called me and said, Jennifer Warnes wants to do the song as long as she can sing it with you. And I said, okay. And they had sent me the demo, and I thought it was a good song.
Mm.
And so the truth is, both Jennifer and I did the song literally just to work with each other. We didn't think the movie would do anything. And you know, that's the weird thing about this business, man. You just don't know where it's going to come from. You know, I've had the time of my life. Just turned out to be a monster. The movie Dirty Dancing is still a monster, and go figure. I'm just a blessed man.
I don't want to be Phil Spector creepy, but have you considered how many babies have been made to the movie Dirty Dancing and to your music? In fact, to your voice, Bill?
Well, I've been told a few. I've met a few that have said, if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be here. But yeah, that's kind of, you know, that's one of the great things about this industry, this business, or singing those kind of songs. I've had guys come up to me, you know, and say, boy, you know, I want to thank you for your music, man. And I can't tell you how many times in the back seat and bang, and then their wives will come up. Their wives will come up and say, I just want to thank you for so many wonderful, beautiful moments in our life. Guys and girls are just two different animals, man.
Who needs Viagra when you've got Bill Medley? That's what I say.
Oh, there you go.
So then you come to the UK to do the Time of My Life tour, which is going to be phenomenal. I mean, the people on this bill are ridiculous. Frida Payne and all these wonderful Billy Paul, these voices that I just love. How do you keep your nerve, Bill, when you stood on those huge stages? I saw you a year ago at Wembley and you nailed it. Is it nerve-wracking or is it just a day in the office at this point?
Well, hopefully it stays nerve-wracking, not to the point of where it makes you nuts, but you still want to have, you know, that nervous energy cooking inside of you, and you want to be anxious to get up there. You don't want to be afraid to get up there. I'm never afraid to get up there. I'm just anxious to get up there and you know, and hope that this voice can get me through one more.
Yeah. I remember Pavarotti saying his biggest fear in the morning was waking up, having a cough and not sounding like Pavarotti. Do you have that sort of nightmare ongoing that you're going to wake up and not sound like yourself?
Well, I've had dreams that I'd wake up and sound like Andy Williams, and I would be thrilled to death. But no, yeah, I mean, I was telling that there could come a point I would walk on stage and I wouldn't know any of the songs, and my voice would be different, and but I just love being on stage. I just so enjoy it, and that's what's kept me in this business. Some people have said, when are you going to retire? I said, I'd have to get a job first.
Yeah.
You know, this is a 15-year-old boy's dream I'm living, and all of us, you know, like everybody on this Time of My Life tour probably would tell you the same thing. We're just thrilled and feel blessed to be out here doing it and having people show up and share the experience with us.
The greatest line I ever heard was from a comedian over here called Ken Dodd, who's 87 years old, and he said, "You only retire to stop doing what you don't want to do. I'm doing what I do want to do." It's a good line, isn't it?
That's a great line,
yeah.
And it happens to be the truth.
Yeah.
You know, why would I walk away from this?
I don't blame you. Keep at it. And in terms of the songs that you're going to sing on this tour, it's a big tour. I mean, you came to Wembley for the first time. I couldn't believe it that just a couple of years ago was your first appearance live in the UK. That's ridiculous. And now you're going to be touring the UK. I guess this is sort of a full circle dream.
Well, it really is. I mean, Bobby and I never got the chance. Every time we were ready to come to Europe and England, we just something would happen and this and that, and then we broke up in '68 for a few years, and we just never got over there. We went over there to promote Love and Feeling, but we had never did a live show over there. So when I went over, last year, it was very exciting for me, and I'm really excited about this. I think these theaters and auditoriums where we're playing, are just going to be a lot of fun, and the people on the show are just phenomenal. I feel very honored to be on this tour.
Well, I think it's our privilege to see you. Do you still miss Bobby? I mean, it was 2003, nearly 12 years ago, 13 years ago now since he passed away. Do you still think of him most days?
Oh, yeah, I do. And when I'm on stage, I sing Unchained Melody, and we show a video that's kind of a tribute to Bobby, because Bobby sang Unchained Melody, and or sang lead on it anyway, and I think about him certainly every show, man. He was one of the great singers in the world, I think.
I saw you last year, and you looked as fit as a trout. There you were, a very imposing man, very tall, very fit. How are you in yourself? You don't look your age, do you?
I don't. I sure feel it.
Do you?
Now, truth is, I don't even feel it. I mean, when I'm on stage, man, I feel like I'm 25 years old until I look in the mirror and then I say, oops. But, like I say, I'm in good shape for the shape I'm in.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, to sort of get over to someone like me that's never stood on a stage in front of 10,000 people, how does it feel when you hit that high note, you've got to the end of your set, and they're standing on their feet and cheering for more? Is there any better feeling?
No, it's the greatest high in the world, and I can say to all kids and even adult performers, you want to be stone sober when that moment happens, because you want to experience it right to your bones.
I don't want this question to be crude, but why have you survived when so many others haven't? What is it about music particularly that takes them young? It's very rare you get somebody of your standing and caliber still alive at 74.
Boy, I don't know, other than, I've taken decent care of myself. I never did a lot of booze. I have a little wine at dinner. When I was younger, I'd drink beer, and never did drugs. Smoked marijuana for 3 months in 1970. The best sleep I ever got. And so, I just been fortunate and pretty good, good DNA from my mom and dad, and just loving what I do and loving my family. I got a great family, grandchildren, and this and that, and I'm every day above dirt is just a blessing to me.
Yeah, it's a miracle, and so wondrous as well. I wonder whether the fact that you've kept your feet on the floor is down to Mrs. Medley. I wonder how she managed to do that. Were there moments when you became a bit up your own backside, or were you always a guy that just took the business for what it was?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Did you ever become an asshole, is basically what I'm asking you.
I am an asshole. Nah, you know what? I'm pretty easy. Well, I'm very easygoing, very hard to get ruffled up, and no, you know what? I was always too busy to be an asshole, because I produced all the Righteous Brothers albums, and even when we were with Phil Spector, Phil asked me to produce the albums because he was going to spend too much money and take too much time, so he asked me to produce the albums. And actually, I produced Unchained Melody just by accident. It was a B-side of our single that Phil Spector produced. But I just think I was always too busy to take myself very serious. You know, I think I always felt extremely lucky, and to have the opportunity. You know, I'm not going to BS you. I mean, luck will only get you through the first door.
Right.
Then it's pretty much talent and a lot of hard work and dedication and love for what you're doing. But no, I don't believe. I'm sure if you ask a few of my ex-wives, you'd get a different answer. But
how many ex-wives are there, Bill?
This is my fourth marriage. My first marriage was 5 years. Second marriage was 1 year. Third marriage was 6 months. My fourth marriage was 29 years.
The 6-month one wasn't a good marriage, was it? That didn't work out well at all.
Man, no. And
what a mistake that was.
We went together for 6 years or something. Maybe we should have quit while we were ahead.
I think 4 marriages in show business is nothing. I think you've done quite well, to be honest. You could be up in 7 or 8 or 9s by now.
I've done all right.
Very finally, the Righteous Brothers, of course, is what we all know. We don't know necessarily Bobby's name as much as yours, and we don't know your name as much as the Righteous Brothers. I always felt that was a very selfless thing to do. Did you care that you weren't the sort of name star? Everybody knows Andy Williams. Did you ever consider just being Bill Medley and Bobby, or was that never an issue?
Well, there was a point in time that we knew, you know, like when we broke up in '68, that it was kind of a drag that, you know, we weren't Bill Medley and Bobby Hatfield, or, you know, instead of the Righteous Brothers. But in today's time, I'm so proud of the Righteous Brothers name and what we've accomplished in this and that. But yeah, it would have made it a lot simpler if we would have been Bobby Hatfield and Bill Medley.
Or the other way around. Maybe Bill Medley first.
Yes.
Listen, I've only said this, I think, 4 times. I said it to Andy Williams. I did his last interview in the UK just before he died. I said it to Benny Anderson at ABBA in his home. I said it to Donny Osmond, and I'm going to say it to you. I hope you realise how much we love you and love your music. You have changed the world. Your legacy will live on far beyond your years, and for that I want to say thank you. Bill Medley, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you, man. God bless you for the compliment.
Can't wait to see you in Nottingham. The Time of My Life tour will be touring the UK, put together by David Guest, and of course Bill Medley from the Righteous Brothers will be starring in the show. Great to talk to you, Bill.
Thank you.